This is not a specific place. This is not a specific story. What it's more like is a poem on a page. I want a viewer to look at it and have first of all, a feeling. And then I want them to, because the feeling is interesting, unnameable, kind of ambiguous, I would like a viewer to figure out what it's saying to them. It's not planned. I really didn't say I want to wind up with this color, and that color. I mean, it really is more, in the process, things change and I add and I subtract. What I'm doing as I'm painting is the same thing that I think a poet would do. I love the way the lines of poetry keep adding a little bit of information so that the overall experience of reading the poem leads you to a feeling. I'm doing the same thing by adding piece by piece. They're collages, really, though every element is painted. It's either encaustic or oil. You might look at the torn and folded and bent elements and the splashes and this kind of structure thing that is looking like it's a little bit falling apart or it's a little dangerous or rickety. It's a feeling of longing and worry. Those kinds of moments and times and experiences, a sense of awe, a sense of being very alone in the universe or being at one with the universe. All these things that are the subtext of being a human being and experiencing things. Nobody else has to get the same story that I do, or even do they have to get a story, because there's no specific narrative that I'm making here. I paint over, I scrape back, I guess I didn't have a lot of this color laid down there. I scraped back to the background because at some point pretty much the whole thing was a black background. It has dots, and what does that even refer to in real life? Nothing specific, except for me, the making of the dots rhythmically and repetitively. It's sort of like marking time. Well, there you can see that there are layers of color, and so at some point this form had the kind of deep dusky lavender and the turquoise, and then I scraped it, and then this kind of paper baggy color came over it, and then I scraped it back, and then the piece itself was just too mute. I don't know, it wasn't really doing anything. I think it came after this. I don't exactly remember, but I'm pretty sure I added this after that. So it needed to have a little bit more happening there, and these dots came after these dots. And so it just seemed like a play of tiny repetitive dots with the larger, kind of a little bit less regimented. And then the final thing that happened in the painting was the blue circle. And it just needed to have something that made it a little bit more dimensional. To me, it creates a depth of the whole thing.